And General Miguna spends his second day there after failing to gain entry into the country. Miguna spent the night at the JKIA after he rejected the government's attempts to deport him to Dubai, the United Arab Emirates. Miguna refused to board the Dubai-bound Emirates flight last night, triggering dramatic scenes that played on late into the night. Miguna has since declined to fill in requisite forms to facilitate the processing of his citizenship documents. We're now being joined by reporter Francis Gashuri, who is at the JKIA. A very good afternoon to you, Francis. What reasons are the lawyers, Miguna's lawyers, giving with regard to his refusal to fill in those forms? Well, I'm made to understand our reporter Francis Gashuri will be joining us, but we do have live pictures from the JKIA currently.
Tunaniona?
Yes, I do understand. We do have Francis Gashuri.
Very well, Fred. And a little bit of a miscommunication here because of the kind of a situation that we find ourselves in. But it was a very long day for Miguna yesterday, and a very long night for Miguna last night, and an equally long morning for him, and looks like it will be another very long afternoon once again, because he remains holed up here at the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport. Actually, at Unit 2 particularly, that's where he's held up in one of those rooms there. And the immigration officers are saying they cannot let him get out until he complies with what they are insisting are procedures. For example, they want him to sign documents that were brought in this morning that he needs to regularize his citizenship, because the immigration team insists that he lost his citizenship in 1998 when he acquired the citizenship of Canada. Before then, there was no provision for dual citizenship as provided for in the Constitution that was enacted in 2010. But on the other hand, Miguna's lawyers, led by Senior Counsel James Orengo, the Senator for CI and Minority Leader in the Senate, as well as Cliff Ombeta and Otiende Amolo, are insisting that Miguna cannot sign those documents, because doing so would be essentially trapping himself that what his lawyers were insisting at the court of law, and that was the basis of the orders that were granted by Justice Chacha as well as Justice Kimaru, that he be brought back to the country and that he be facilitated to get travel documents so that he can be able to attend the case that he has filed insisting on his citizenship. They're saying if he agrees to sign those documents that were provided today, then it would be essentially meaning that the Interior Cabinet Secretary Fred Matiang'i, as well as the then Director of Immigration Gordon Kihalangwa, were correct in stating that he is not a citizen. So the standoff persists, Freddy, for now, and security remains intensified here. A short while ago, a contingent of GSU officers had a condoned of the Unit 2, and even the travelers who are on scheduled flights had to go through rigorous process of being identified, because the security officers are saying that they don't want anybody who is addressing the question of Miguna. Even us in the media are having a little bit of a problem in terms of accessing Miguna and any information relating to him. A little lucky for us, because we are here, but most of our colleagues remain blocked outside at the main entrance of the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport. And for now, the situation remains as such. Miguna on one hand holding that he doesn't want to quit, and on the other hand, he doesn't want to comply with the instructions that are coming from the immigration team. And on the other hand, the immigration team insisting that he cannot leave, because doing so would be a breach of the immigration rules as well as the travel regulations. So that standoff continues, Freddy, and we hope that the situation will not aggravate and turn as ugly as it did last evening when members of the media were manhandled, as well as the other top officials from the National Super Alliance. For now, other than the leaders that we have mentioned, that is Senator James Orengo, Otiende Amolo, the Member of Parliament for Arieda, and Cliff Ombeta, our other lawyers who had come here were blocked. Even members of Parliament who had come here, Jared Okello from Nyando constituency, where Miguna comes from, and Babu Owino, the Member of Parliament for Embakasi East, the constituency that we are currently in, were all blocked from accessing the self-proclaimed general of the National Resistance Movement. So for now, the situation remains as such. We don't know whether he will be released or whether he will be maybe changing his mind to comply with the regulations as issued by the Immigration Department. But for now, we remain to see how the situation will unfold. But Freddie, I can tell you, Miguna remains here as the standoff persists. And hopefully that the situation will not turn ugly, as I stated earlier, the kind of a situation that we saw our colleague Steve Leto, as well as Sophia Onuno of KTN and Robert Gishira of NTV going through last evening when they were manhandled by the police officers. Back
Francis, on that issue about the journalists and you performing your duties there with regard to what happened last night, how have you been treated so far today? Because yes, you say some journalists have been locked out of the airport, but you're there interacting with those police officers. How have you been treated this morning? Well, I do understand that there is a communication problem there, and Gashuri is not able to hear my question to him.